السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
I may ask the brothers and sisters to please make your way forward, fill in any gaps so that we can have as much space as possible. Also, as a reminder, please silence your cell phones. One is not allowed to look at their cell phones or to talk to someone else during the khutbah. إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we praise Him because He is worthy of praise. And our worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is heavily influenced by our acknowledgement that He is perfect and that He is worthy of being worshipped. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among His servants who are pious and righteous. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the evils within ourselves and the evil consequences of our actions. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His peace and blessings upon the last and final messenger, the one who was sent as a source of mercy to all of mankind until the day of judgment, and all those who follow him until the day of judgment. Ameen. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد. And we remind one another to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to embody and live by the principles of taqwa, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the muttaqeen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He describes the human being in the Quran, when He ascribes attributes to us, you find that sometimes He praises the children of Adam, while other times He gives us negative, or what we perceive to be negative adjectives. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانِ إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظَلُومًا جَهُولًا وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ قَتُورًا. Among others, that humans they are ignorant. They have very little knowledge. They are unjust towards their responsibilities. They are weak towards their desires. And they are weak physically in comparison to other creations. That the children of Adam are stingy. They always want to keep. They always want to hoard. They don't want to give. While other times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Indeed, we have given nobility to the children of Adam. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us in the best physical form. So we stand up and we're able to represent that which we perceive to be beautiful. We're able to embody beauty. But when you analyze these verses, you'll find why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises us at times, and at other times He does not. When we look at the negativity ascribed to us, you find that it is when human beings become detached from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is when human beings look at themselves irrelevant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas when He praises us, it's a praise that shows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave us. He gave us that. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah is the one who gave us nobility. Allah praises us when we are close to Him. And He praises the way He created us. But when we become disconnected from that reality, when we don't live based off that, we are left with ignorance, with injustice, with stinginess, and with other negative attributes. And when you look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the Quran views gender, you'll find something similar. But before I get to that, it helps elaborate this point when we look at this issue of gender here in the West, in America specifically. Because now this is becoming a very big, a very hot topic. When you look at gender in America, whether it's masculinity or femininity, you see that it changes over time, from era to era. And it's important to understand why it changes. So, before the invention of all this machinery, when the world was heavily dependent on farmland and farmers, you find that men define masculinity based on what makes them capable of being a good farmer, having good attributes, being an honest person, being strong in that they protect their family, they are able to provide for their family. But slowly, as these mega cities become established and business trade becomes more of the force of economy, and people are independent businessmen and women, you find that the qualities that are focused on changes. It's more about being a forceful, aggressive person, because in business you need that in order to compete. And slowly as things change, certain wars take place. Right? The hippie movement, you find that men start they embody more feminine, or what they consider to be more feminine attributes. And they saw that as a problem. The government saw that as a problem. So what did they introduce? The macho men. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rambo, Sylvester Stallone, Chuck Norris, these macho men who enter any area and they just completely overpower people. Right? This image that I am so strong, I'm so macho, I have no emotions. And you find that the first generation of Muslims came during that period. Those movies, Terminator and Rambo. And my generation caught the end of that. So when we were growing up, men don't hug each other. We kind of have the bro hug, right? We kind of just tap real quickly. We don't kiss each other on the cheek. We don't hold hands. If you say, I'm going with my friend to a picnic, for breakfast, whoa, what? That's girly. What are you doing? Right? You find that. Yet when you go to the Middle East, our ethnic origins, another guy will come and hold your hand. And man, when that happens, what are you doing? When they come kiss your cheek, this is something strange, right? But this is telling us something. And even women went through such phases. The feminist movement, when it began, how did it begin? Well, when a society is a rural society, when it's about farming and farmland, well, in rural society, women tend to embody the same responsibilities as men. The housewife wasn't just someone who stayed at home and took care of the kids and cooked and cleaned. Rather, she was part of the economy. And because she was part of the economy, society valued her. But when all this technology came, the Industrial Revolution came, you find that shifted, and women lost part of their value in society. And they felt that, and that concerned them. So they started the feminist movement. And of course, with the different waves of the feminist movement, that changed. And now we're back in the same conversation. What does it mean to be a woman? And what does it mean to be a man? Well, let's look at what the Quran says. Never do you find in the Quran or the Hadith tradition that Allah praises someone because they're a man or because they're a female. Never does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praise someone just because they're a macho man or they're strong physically. Right? Rather, what you find in the Quran is that the true praiseworthy attributes always, consistently go back to a person's relationship to Allah and their embodiment of the faith. So take these verses for example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فِي بُيُوتٍ أَذِنَ اللَّهُ أَن تُرْفَعَ وَيُذْكَرَ فِيهَا اسْمُهُ يُسَبِّحُ لَهُ فِيهَا بِالْغُدُوِّ وَالْآصَالِ رِجَالٌ. That in homes, the homes of Allah, the masajid, right, you find people who are raising the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are constantly remembering Allah, day in, day out. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes them as men, rijal. رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَإِقَامِ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِيتَاءِ الزَّكَاةِ يَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا تَتَقَلَّبُ فِيهِ الْقُلُوبُ وَالْأَبْصَارُ. These men aren't deterred from Allah because of trade or business. They are fulfilling their prayer. They are giving their zakah. And they are worried of the day when they will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is a man in Islam. And likewise, you have another verse in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises men and women. And how does He do that? إِنَّ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَالْمُسْلِمَاتِ وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ وَالْقَانِتِينَ وَالْقَانِتَاتِ وَالصَّادِقِينَ وَالصَّادِقَاتِ وَالْخَاشِعِينَ وَالْخَاشِعَاتِ وَالْمُتَصَدِّقِينَ وَالْمُتَصَدِّقَاتِ وَالصَّائِمِينَ وَالصَّائِمَاتِ وَالْحَافِظِينَ فُرُوجَهُمْ وَالْحَافِظَاتِ وَالذَّاكِرِينَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا وَالذَّاكِرَاتِ. That the believing, the submitting males and the submitting females, the believing males and the believing females, the obedient males and the obedient females, the fasting males and the fasting females, the humble males and the humble females, the patient males and the patient females, the males who are constantly, frequently remembering Allah and the females who do the same, the males who protect their chastity and the females who do that. They're the ones who are rewarded. So in Islam, it is a clear, explicit point that being a male gives you no bonus points in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And likewise, being a female gives you no bonus points in front of Allah. Having what society considers to be male attributes does not get you anywhere. And having female attributes does not get you anywhere. Rather, what gets you somewhere in Islam is your relationship to Allah and how you embody the faith. And therefore, because of this understanding, you find throughout Islamic history, the history of the Muslim world, you don't have these issues of gender. And even today. Now, this doesn't mean there weren't any injustices going on. That's not what it means. But this question of what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman was never really brought up. Why? because this question of gender has a lot to do, and perhaps it is a manifestation of a greater question, that is the question of identity. Who am I? But in Islam, one's identity is very clear. You are able to engage with it. You are able to live with it in a way that's independent of society. What makes a true Muslim man, right, back in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, is what makes a man a true Muslim man today. And the same thing for females. So our identity has been quite clear. We never have challenged this concept of identity because the Quran makes it simple for us. Your identity is your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more you're able to embody that, the more you're able to live it, the more you're able to experience it, the more independent you become from these trends, from these philosophical questions. And that is one of the main goals of Islam. We are a people who submit to Allah. We define ourselves based on our relationship with Allah. What makes us a Muslim is our submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more a person submits to Allah, the more Allah elevates them. And therefore the most elevated people, the most praiseworthy people across the board are who? The prophets. Why? Because they were the most submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And following them are the companions. Why? Because they were the most submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the more a person submits to Allah, the more he elevates him or her. And it is a fair playing field. Anyone can do that. And one of the secrets of submission in Islam, submitting oneself to Allah, their heart, their mind, and their body, is that by doing that, you become free. Because now your dependence is on Allah. Someone who is constant, Allah doesn't change. Someone who's always there, Allah does not disappear. He never ceases to exist. So it's not about fads and trends, it's about the one and only subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that frees us from materialism. It frees us from our desires. It frees us from the economy. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our dependent, we depend on Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is able to provide us with all what we need. So regardless of the situation, regardless of the conversation, we are okay. We are free. And this is only for those who submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's unfortunate that you have some of these uniquely Western conversations, Western problems like race and gender, that's starting to bleed over into the Muslim world, and it's becoming so profound in our circles that it's even starting to question our understanding of who Allah is. Now you have people coming saying, my Allah is a she. Right? And no, they don't mean Allah is a female, biologically. They say Allah is not a male, biologically, and we say he, so I say Allah is a she. Right? The question is, the Quran addresses Allah with the masculine form. Because, why? When it's gender neutral, they use the masculine form. That's why. Allah describes Himself this way. Why do we need to change that? If our goal is submission to Allah, right, to be close to Him, to understand or get to know Allah the way He told us, because who better knows Allah than Himself? And He described Himself this way. Why do we need to change that? Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wal-'iyadu billah wa hasha lillah? Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a doll in front of us that we kind of design and we dress the way that's befitting to what we want? Or do we bend and shape ourselves to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my dear brothers and sisters, this issue of gender is a big topic. It's being discussed, and it's okay to discuss it. Discuss it with your children. Because now in California, there's a new law that's being passed, if not already passed, that schools are now gender neutral. They're not allowed to teach your children that this is a male and this is a female. That's a problem. Can you imagine living in a world, going to school where they're so confused they cannot differentiate between a male and a female, or they don't want to? That's quite troublesome. So have this conversation with your children. Let them know that we in Islam are not concerned for masculinity or femininity. Right? The females of Mecca had a certain type of role that they played. Whereas the females of Medina, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, had a different role. So when the Meccan women entered and became more engaged in the Medinan society, they took and they learned from them. And they started talking back to their men. And the men started complaining, Ya Rasulullah, they're learning from the Medinan women, now they're talking back to us. To show us that gender in Islam, or what it means to be a woman or a man, wasn't absolute. It wasn't static. You had the spectrum. You had women who were more aggressive, right? Who had no problem fighting, had no problem talking back to their men. And you had other women who played a different role. And the Quran doesn't address this. What it addresses is one's character and relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a man is meant to be merciful like a woman. A man is meant to be compassionate like a woman. A man is supposed to be truthful, as women are supposed to be like that. So when you look at these attributes, my dear brothers and sisters, this is a serious topic. You know, they say that women are more compassionate, they're more merciful. Well, to us, who do we believe is the most compassionate and most merciful after Allah? The Prophet ﷺ, he's a man. And therefore, we need to, as Muslims, really understand the Quran and the message of the Quran. We are not concerned with gender. What we are concerned with is our submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who submit to Him, who can really feel the beauty of being completely and entirely dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whoever does that, then Allah gives them freedom. وَأَقُولُ قَوْلِ هَذَا وَأَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لِي وَلَكُمْ. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. To conclude, just to go over some Ramadan issues, some Ramadan fiqh issues. As a reminder, if anyone doubts the validity of their fasting, meaning they did something and they're not sure if they invalidated their fasting, continue to fast and then ask someone, ask an imam, ask myself, ask another imam. Do not break your fast until you know that you are allowed to break your fast. Okay? If you forget that you are fasting, this happens all the time, and you take a drink or you eat, that is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is excused, continue your fasting. Also in Ramadan, it is a major sin to break your fast without a legitimate excuse, like traveling or like being ill or other reasons. It is a major sin. It is worse than eating pork, and it is worse than drinking alcohol. Take it seriously. Your kids don't have to go to that graduation party, or if they go, they can not eat. It's okay, right? Also, when it comes to what the body takes, medication, eye drops and ear drops don't break fast, according to one opinion. This is the opinion I give fatwa on. If you need to take eye drops or ear drops, that is okay. That does not break fast. Likewise, shots don't break fast. So our brothers and sisters who have diabetes and who need to take insulin, taking that insulin does not break fast. Okay? Also, for those who need to take a pill, sometimes there's a pill at a certain time, they need to take it. Talk to your doctor. If you can change that schedule, you have to do that. If the doctor understands and they are trustworthy, right? They're not, over who cares about religion and whatnot. If they are trustworthy and they say, no, you have to take it at this time, right? Then, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, make up your fasting in winter when it's, right, a little bit easier. If they are unable to fast, whether it's due to old age, due to certain illnesses, right? Then this is when you pay the fidya, which is feeding one person per day, which is around $12 to $15 per day. Okay? Also, yes, so these are some of the issues. Please do come to me if you have any other questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. But I emphasize, and I will continue to emphasize, do not break your fast until you know it's okay. All right? Because if you do that, you don't just make up a day in winter or another time. you have to pay the kafara. The kafara is quite severe. It's either you're going to fast 60 days, one day after another, consecutively, or you're going to feed 60 poor individuals. So 60 times, 15, that's not a small sum of money. Please do take that seriously. Make dua for Ammar al-Basha as well as Ahmed Asasa, who both passed away. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them and to grant them mercy, to accept their good deeds and overlook any shortcomings. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant their family patience. A few announcements. The Shura Council has announced the beginning of Ramadan on Monday, May 6th. Check our bulletin boards for Ramadan programs, Ramadan rules, etc., parking. We are also selling dates outside, and iftar tickets will be ready next Friday, inshallah. Starting on the first Friday of Ramadan, we'll be having 2 khutbahs. The first one will be at 12 p.m., and it will be in Arabic. The second one at 1:15, it will be in English. Sheikh Zuhair will be doing the first one, and I will be doing the second one, or if we have a guest speaker, they will be doing the second one. For those who are concerned of the time, 12 o'clock is before the Adhan al-Dhuhr. This is a fatwa based on, or from the madhab of Imam Ahmad, who says that Jum'ah prayer, not Dhuhr prayer, Jum'ah prayer is from the time of Duha until Asr prayer. So to make things easier for us, we have taken that fatwa, and this is the fatwa I personally give. OCIF is hosting a foster care orientation tonight at 7 p.m. presented by New Star Family Center. Please do your best to attend this event and understand how the foster care system works and how you can be a part of it. The reason why we're bringing this is that sometimes we have refugee families or Muslim families who are going through some problems, some paper problems, and their kids who are young, dependent, have American citizenship. And their parents are forced to leave the country and their kids remain here. What happens is, if there aren't any families who are foster care certified, they send them to other foster care families or orphanage homes. And we don't want our Muslim kids in the hands of people who aren't going to cherish their faith. So we would appreciate if some Muslim families who have the capacity to become certified, so that if some kids need to, for a temporary time, by the way, this isn't permanent, for a temporary time, can host these Muslim kids so that we can take care of them until their situation is resolved and they can be rejoined with their family. OCIF's annual bazaar is tomorrow at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have over 50 vendors registered, so please come out and support all our vendors. OCIF will be conducting a community survey in Ramadan. So the reason we're doing this is that we are going through a strategic plan. We understand that it's been 20-some years since OCIF has been established. We have a new upcoming generation, right? And we want to make sure that we update the masjid accordingly. And part of that is getting your feedback. So throughout Ramadan, we have hired a professional to come up with this survey for us, for you to take. So we can get your feedback, we can understand your needs and your wants, and to make sure that the community is more involved with the masjid. So it's very important that you take this. The more feedback we get from you, the more of a vision we have. So please do take this seriously. Throughout Ramadan, we'll be announcing this. It's only a 5-minute survey, so inshallah, once we have finalized that, we will present it to you and let you know. So we are highly encouraging you to do that. My OC tonight won't be at OCIF, it will be at Garden Grove for a special presentation with Imam Suhaib Webb, who will be talking about, or giving a lecture on Dispelling Doubts. So this is a program for many of the youth groups from around SoCal. Please do send your kids there. Don't say, oh, it's far away, 30-minute drive and whatever, and the kids don't want to go. No, take them there. This is a very important topic. It's about dispelling doubts, atheism, right, gender, etc., other important issues. Do take them. It's at 7 p.m. at Garden Grove Masjid. The Quran class will remain here at 5 p.m. Islamic Relief will be hosting its annual Grand Iftar on Sunday, May 11th at the Anaheim Convention Center. For more details, please see the flyer outside. Allahumma ighfir lil muslimin wal muslimat wal mu'minin wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat innaka sami'un qareebun mujibu da'awati rabbil alamin wa aqim as-salat.